all those moments will be lost in time.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna talk about the man who walked 351 miles to meet a teenage girl, so a pedophile. He set out to walk 351 miles to meet a teen girl, police say. She turned out to be an undercover cop.
Disgusting!
Now, I really think there are very few joys in life, but one of my very favorite, my absolute favorite joys is when someone thinks they're being really smart or cunning and then they get busted. Kind of like when, you know, those old episodes of Chris Hansen and the guy walks in and then Chris Hansen asks him to take a seat and you can just see the guy realizing I'm fucked. That gives me a sense of justice that I don't think can be topped by much else, so I already deeply enjoy this article. Kylie said she lived in Wisconsin. Tommy Lee Jenkins, 32, was in Indiana with no access to a car, but he was so eager to meet the 14-year-old, federal prosecutors say, that he began walking to meet her, setting out on a 351-mile odyssey that took him through 3 states along the Great Lakes. I don't like making light of topics. I think it's fun to make fun of stupid criminals. This actually alarms me. Someone willing to walk that far to engage in pedophilic acts scares me because the amount of dedication just seems unparalleled. I've never heard of someone walking almost 400 miles to go be a criminal, and it makes me wonder what would he do if this girl lived next door. On Thursday, 4 days after he set out on his trek, he made it to his destination, Winnebago County, Wisconsin, and was promptly arrested. The teen girl whom Jenkins thought he had been corresponding with was actually an undercover cop.
No.
This makes me kind of laugh because imagine being such a desperate fucking degenerate of a pedophile that you're gonna walk almost 400 miles and after all this struggle you get there and you get arrested. I'm sorry, but I have to laugh because he deserves it. Of course he deserves it. I just picture him being so sure he's gonna get away with something and then it just gets slammed in his face, and I feel like I've gained 10 years of my life. According to the Oshkosh Northwestern, Jenkins had previously caught the eye of local law enforcement. In 2011, while living in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, he was charged with 2 counts of repeated first-degree sexual assault after 2 boys ages 7 and 8 told police Jenkins had touched them inappropriately and threatened they would get in trouble if they told anyone. Jenkins reportedly denied the allegations, telling investigators that the boys were quote-unquote making the whole thing up, but he later pleaded no contest to 4 counts of child abuse, a reduced charge. He was sentenced to 4 years of probation and his 360-day jail sentence was stayed, the paper reported. Okay, I know that this is something that we've all said, but it really does baffle me that people can go to jail for having marijuana for a longer time than pedophiles. It makes me deeply angry to the point where I almost angry cry because that's my first reaction to being angry, I guess. 4 years of probation when there were 4 counts of child abuse? According to a police affidavit, Jenkins moved to Whitestown, Indiana after the incident, but he soon came into crosshairs of law enforcement again. Earlier this month, a deputy with the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office who was working with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force created a fake Facebook profile posing as a 14-year-old girl from Neenah, Wisconsin named Kylie Marie. The deputy, who recognized Jenkins from his stint in the Winnebago County Jail, sent the 32-year-old a friend request. Jenkins accepted. The two struck up conversation. Court records filed in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Wisconsin show Kylie was candid about her supposed age, asking Jenkins, "Do you care I'm 14 and drink?" The 32-year-old replied that he didn't. When the undercover deputy brought up the issue again, typing, "I don't drive though, I'm only 14, LOL," Jenkins allegedly responded, "Yeah, at your age I was 15 when I got the first DUI," before asking for a photo of quote-unquote Kylie. I apologize for my neighbor's child screaming. Authorities say that Jenkins soon began expressing interest in meeting this supposed 14-year-old, telling her, "If I had the money, I would put you on a bus." He allegedly told Kylie that they could get a house together and she would be able to drink and party as much as she wanted. She should tell her parents that she was going to spend the next 2 to 3 weeks helping out a friend's parents, he suggested, and would call every day. I'm sorry, but what parent would realistically believe, like I know the person was an undercover cop anyway, but what parent would believe a 14-year-old being like, "Hey mom and dad, I'm gonna peace out for 2 to 3 weeks. See you later. You don't know the person I'm going to be staying with, but it's all good. Bye." I'm sorry, but what? No. Absolutely not. I think any kind of parent, even probably bad parents, would say, that's suspicious. You would be my kid forever, Jenkins wrote, according to the police affidavit. I have people that would take care of it with the paperwork. The conversation quickly turned sexually explicit, with a 32-year-old requesting nude photographs, police wrote. On October 6th, he allegedly asked Kylie if she would like him to come up to Wisconsin and get her. Not long after the undercover cop playing the part of the teenager agreed, Jenkins said he had started walking. He predicted it would take him 2 to 4 days to get to her. 108 hours if he walked, 30 hours if he biked. I know I keep coming back to this point about the walking almost 400 miles, but it really does frighten me that a man would be willing to do that in order to have sex with a 14-year-old. He decided to walk, police say. The arduous trek would have taken him through the farm country surrounding Indianapolis to the industrial southern shore of Lake Michigan, then through Chicago. Along the way, authorities say, he updated Kylie on his progress, sending pictures of exit signs and local landmarks such as churches that passed along the way and selfies taken during his walk. It's not entirely clear how many of the 300 plus miles Jenkins actually covered on foot. According to court documents, he messaged Kylie on Thursday, 4 days after he had started walking, and said he was in Wisconsin. Someone had bought him a bus ticket that got him to Milwaukee, he explained, before telling Kylie that he wanted to have 500 kids with her, including one in the next year. When Jenkins arrived in Winnebago County later that same day, an FBI agent and local authorities arrested him. So, of course, there's already something wrong with this person because he's a pedophile. But aside from that, 500 children, that makes me believe that there's more wrong with him. I'm not assuming he has a mental illness. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because I think there has to be a very big disconnect between you and reality to want to have 500 children, not even with a consenting adult, but with a 14-year-old girl. Our nation faces an epidemic of child sexual abuse, with the internet making it too easy for predators to communicate with children across the country, U.S. Attorney Matthew D. Kruger said in a Friday statement. Jenkins faces charges of using a computer to attempt to persuade, induce, or entice a minor to engage in unlawful sexual activity, which comes with a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years and the potential for life in prison. Court records shows he has been assigned a federal public defender who did not immediately respond to a request for comment late Sunday night. So I found an article from October 23rd that gives a little bit more of updated information in terms of what's going to happen to Tommy Lee Jenkins, and it says Tommy Lee Jenkins, 32, pleaded not guilty Wednesday in U.S. District Court in Green Bay to using a computer to solicit sex from a minor with interstate transportation for purposes of engaging in sex with a minor. U.S. Magistrate James Sickle scheduled a 3-day jury trial to start December 31st. So honestly, I don't know what the point is of trying to plead not guilty when there's abundant evidence and, sexual conversations. So I guess we'll see what happens with that once the trial gets started. I genuinely hope he gets more than he did the first time with his 360 days in jail and then 4 years of probation, because we've seen now that it's a pattern. It was already a pattern because there were 2 boys before, but now we've seen the pattern repeat itself again, and I would hope that would be enough. Hopefully that would be enough to convince the judge to have this guy locked up for a relatively significant amount of time. Like I said, I'm shit at deciding how many years something is worth, but surely this is worth more than a simple probation, considering he fucking walked almost 400 miles to get to a girl. So imagine what he'd do if someone were their next door neighbor. Like, I would not put kidnapping past this guy, since those were kind of his plans, to take this girl away and then have their 500 babies. This guy needs to be checked out for mental illness as well, because it seems like something's going on there, because he doesn't seem very much in tune with reality. Anyone who would walk that distance to commit a crime against a child, in my books, is not doing mentally well. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. How long do you think he should get in jail? Let me know what you think about him walking 351 miles. Yikes. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.